What you looking at? Good morning.
Been wanting to do this video for a while. Haven't found time. Just want to do a walk around of my mill shed that I started in the summer. So the dimensions of this thing are 30 by 40 with a 16-foot shed row off of it. So that's 16 foot from here to there. The dimensions from here to there are 30. It is 13 feet up. High. And then the length of the building is 40 feet currently. Those are 412 trusses on top. I have a door here, a steel door here. I still have the scaffolding in place because I needed some trim pieces up here that I kind of had to order custom because of the way the tin roof came at the end. The standard trim piece landed on a rib on top, so I had to order some pieces that don't get affected by that situation. So the scaffolding's been here for a while, and I can't wait to get those pieces there in. I just got to get them and put those pieces up and I'm done. So here's my LT40. Currently there's no slab, you know. We just started this about 3 months ago, and it's been going slowly. It's just myself and one other guy doing this thing. You know, we set the poles in August, and the ground was so hard, it was like concrete. 4 foot down, it was like dust. We actually cleaned the holes out with a shop vac. That's how dusty and dry it was back in August. So the construction on this is I used laminated posts instead of traditional 6x6s, because with pressure treated, these laminated boards are pressure treated all the way through. The tensile strength of these are stronger than traditional 6x6s, and they're always straight. And I have them 4 foot in the ground, sitting on 6 inches of concrete. Then I set the pole and then pour concrete around it. 2x12 baseboard all the way around the whole barn, so you have plenty of space to pour a slab. You know, I'm gonna come back and put a 8-inch substrate of either CR6 or millings, and then put a slab on that. My pole spacing on the load bearing walls, no bigger than 8 feet. Up top I got double 2x10s bolted to the posts. I still got to come back with backer blocks underneath and prop those up. Saying it helps if you put like a 2-foot block underneath of your beam and support it and lag bolt that through. And then for my shed row, you know, that's adding more load, and it needs its own separate set of beams. So I got two 2x10s right there for the shed row. And you know, I always like to rely on a board sitting on top of a board instead of sheer load on a nail or a joist hanger. So my 2x10 rafters are setting up on top of the beam. I got a bird's mouth notch in there. I got the hurricane straps on them, and then they run out. I got a 16-foot span in here, okay, and setting on top of this, I got two 2x10s here on this opening here. That's 10 foot. This doorway here is 10 foot, so I can come in here with a tractor straight through and get in and out. The mill's clear of that. This run from here all the way down is 30 feet. Add this 10 and that's 40. So this is going to be a sliding door as well. This wall I've held off on. I've been debating whether to make that a wood wall, you know, milled up from the mill, some poplar or metal. You know, the advantage of a wood wall is you can nail things to it, build a shelf on it easier. But honestly, I think I'm going to stick with the metal building and go metal on it, and then still build a shelf on there so I can put stuff for the mill. The mill will mill a 21-foot log. So I have a 21-foot opening here, and that is a LVL up there that'll span that load. It's two of them side by side make a 3.5 wide beam, and that bad boy's sitting on top of that 6x6. I got 6x6s out here because they're shorter. Another advantage of laminated posts are you can get any length. But back to this, that's a big old LVL, which stands for laminated veneer lumber, and it's very strong. It's kind of like the same construction as plywood, and you have opposing grains, and it makes it strong. So that should be able to hold a 3-foot snow load, and I can come in and out of here with my log, full log, straight on there, set it on those 6x6s, and the clamp or the lift will put it right up on there. From this post to that post is 8 feet, and then like I said before, this opening down here is 10 feet. And what I think I'm going to do to close this in a bit is put a double 8-foot sliding door here, so I can slide and close up 16 foot of this opening, which is 21 foot, and then I probably will put a 10-foot door here that can go back and forth. So, you know, they'll kind of meet somewhat in the middle over here somewhat. This wall is going to have metal on it. That'll get the wind off of me a little bit. And then I'll be able to basically close off, once I get the log loaded, I can close off this whole wall. This opening will still be, you know, open somewhat. And get the wind off of you a little bit. And I'm still not done this down here. Okay, I got to close these off a little bit more. What I'm going to do here is come back, and I've already ordered them, with a pole here and here, and make an 8-foot opening, and then probably put an 8-foot by like 10-foot garage door right here, and close this off some more, and that'll give me some more cover from the wind, and it'll make a nice corner in here, and this will be 10 and that'll be 10, and I can put some shelves in here. And of course the future, it has a pad, a concrete pad this is setting on. Probably gonna put millings in here for now. I got to build it up a little bit. Millings are cheap, asphalt millings. I put them everywhere. It's probably better stuff out there, but you can't find anything cheaper than millings. A lot of times they're cheaper than fill dirt. So anyhow, that's going to be a metal wall. This opening right now, these two wings are 4 foot, so 8 minus 30 is 22 foot opening. I really got to take this down a little bit more, so I've ordered two 20-foot poles for this opening, and I'm gonna come over another 1.5 feet on this side and 1.5 feet on this side, and then I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. And it's nice having a big opening, but you know, you got to be able to shut it down. And I have two double sliding doors on each side, so you have two 6-footers and two 6-footers. You know, I'll be able to close that up no problem. In here right now I got my Bobcat parked, and round bale storage for our horses. I'm a sawmill, but I'm also a functioning, operating boarding facility. Whispering Pines Horse Farm Incorporated is our company. My wife and I bought this farm in 2006 and have been operating it as a boarding facility for people and their horses ever since. It's going pretty good. We love it, and it's a great lifestyle. I don't make as much as I used to when I was a contractor, but the lifestyle is so much better that I don't really care. You know, it's all about being happy. And I wake up every day and look out the window at this, and I don't have to go get in a car and sit on the beltway and commute. I don't work for anybody except for my customers. I don't have a boss. I mean, my wife's my boss, but she, you know, that's another story. All men will understand that. Now, I'm self-employed. I am owner and operator of Whispering Pines Horse Farm, and I have another horse farm 20 miles from here that I'll do another video on that. And this sawmill, and this is kind of like a side hobby business, the sawmill, but it's a lot of fun. So it's kind of got me to build this building. I needed the storage for hay, more hay, and equipment, obviously. And so I put the shed row off of the side so I can pull the mill in and out. And it's also separate from the main building. Like I said, there's gonna be a sliding door down here, and I can store wood in here and air dry it. That's why I have so many doors, so I can get good airflow. The hay needs good airflow. You know, that's a door right down there with the metal studs, slides wide open. And we turn around and, you know, you got this huge opening, which, you know, I'm gonna make a little bit smaller, but, you know, when I'm loading hay bales and stuff and you're putting machinery in and out of here, it's nice to have a lot of room to be able to move in and out. So, you know, another reason I built this type of structure and the way it's laid out is I wanted room to grow. So I aimed the building in a manner with my property line, and in a manner that I can extend it when need be, when funds are available. So if you look down this thing, okay, here's my fence line, which pretty much is the property line, about 4 feet past that. And so I pointed it so I could just boom, if need be, just keep going down the fence line. I could make this thing probably about 120 feet long if I want to. So, you know, when you're building something like this, you always got to think of the future. And you know, you don't know what you're going to be doing 10 years from now. At least I don't. I mean, I kind of know what I'm going to be doing. I'm 49 years old now, but you don't know how your little side business might grow, or your current business might grow. It's funny, I started building this building here, and I never even noticed this dead walnut tree right here. And fortunately, it's just inside my property line, and I'll be dropping that thing pretty soon. It's a standing dead walnut right there. This property line is loaded with walnuts. Seems like cherries and walnuts grow on property lines. I don't know, they like disturbed dirt or just sunny edge areas. But back to the barn. Ordered these trusses. Like I said, they're 412. I love a 412 pitch. Being a contractor for years, it's nice to be able to actually walk on the roof. And you know, 412 is very walkable, but there's enough slope on it to get the snow to slide off of it. On steel roofs, you can space these things 4 foot. Got your cross bracing there. And another thing, when building these buildings, you have to keep in mind as you do it, is when you put these posts in the ground, these like I said, I got the laminated posts. Another advantage of these things is there's really no limit with length. You can get them as long as you want. These things here are 20 feet. You want diagonal bracing at all times. So I'll show some still pictures of how I, you know, stood these poles up after I laid it out, drilled the holes, stood the poles, put them in concrete. And you really have to cross brace these a lot, because, you know, you stack these, you stand these poles up, and then you tie them together with your cross purlins, which are every 2 feet. And if you get a side breeze or wind that blows on your trusses or whatever, and they'll fall over like dominoes. So your diagonal posts keep that from happening. And one thing that I've seen on some buildings, farmers that live near me that have hay barns, is another thing you can do, and you see it in home construction a lot, is all the way around this thing you'll see I have some 1/2-inch OSB plywood, and it's setting right on my bottom 2x12. Is you got that piece of plywood, and that gives additional lateral support too. I mean, you cannot, you know, there's not much stronger than a piece of plywood diagonally. So you nail that thing across the bottom, up the side, all the way around, and you try to push that pole that way, it's not happening. And so, you know, I still have some of my laterals in here because I don't have the 10 in yet, and they're not getting in the way yet. So we get some strong winds here, so it's just something that worries me, or I always pay attention to, is wind load, snow load when you design these. You want plenty of bracing in your roof, and in your rafters you got diagonal bracing up here to keep the building from twisting, and then you got top to down bracing to keep these trusses from falling over like dominoes. And then whenever you're designing a building like this, I love these translucent panels, because, you know, if this is all metal and then you get it all boxed in, you walk in here during the day and you can't see anything. I have plenty of natural light in here. My shop has the same thing going on. You always want some natural light. I don't really like the roof translucent panels, because over time these translucent panels oxidize, and they're just not as strong, and they don't mate up with the metal ones quite as well. So I believe they'd be subject to leaking if you had some ice damming going on. So yeah, that's the building. And got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. But we're plugging along at it. You know, I haven't really done anything with this thing for about a month now, just because we have been working on it so long. I got it on the roof, I got the hay in it, I got the mill in there, and you know, I neglected other things while we're doing it, so I had to get on with that. But another thing you got to think about is I put this in this horse field, and you know, it's hard to show without an aerial, but you got to think access. And my farm has a lot of hills, and if you're coming to this thing with logs and trailers with hay, you got to think access. So right now I got a temporary wire horse fence around this thing. It's electrified, and it kind of cuts around here. So, you know, this road coming in with, if I'm coming in with logs, I can come up my back driveway and come down here straight through that gate, and I got this whole big field to turn around in. And this wire fence can be, I got opening here and some openings over here. So, you know, I can come in this field and turn around, drop logs, offload. I got some logs stored over here along the fence here. That's the remains of that swamp log that I cut up. I still haven't got to those pieces. I got some tractor attachments in this area that's cordoned off from the horses. They can't get to it or hurt themselves on it. And I don't know if you saw, I got a pile of millings up at the shop that I'm gonna start spreading today, because it's muddy. And so I'm gonna put millings all out in this area here, and I got a big turnaround area so the tractor can manipulate the log, and I can drag logs up here and move around. So whenever you're planning this thing, you got to think about, you got to be able to get to it. And if it's flat, it's better. You can see my road's muddy. This is going to be all asphalt millings by the end of the day. And I got a good road coming all the way in. I've actually had tractor trailers back here turn around in this field. So one thing to consider when you're doing this. So yeah, it's 40 foot. I got a white roof on it. You can get 10 roofs, but it's only a couple of cents more per square foot to get them painted. And the coating they put on these this metal these days is really good. So to me, it's a no-brainer to get it painted. because if you get it galvanized, you know, in 10 years you're going to be putting tar up there, which is a pain in the ass and an added expense. So get it painted. And this is Fab Rail 3 metal. It's good quality heavy gauge metal. And the main structure, the main building is laminated pure pressure treated posts, which you can get these posts like the bottom 4 foot pressure treated and then laminated. The rest is just framing pine. Save a little bit of money, but you know, I want it all pressure treated. Keep the carpenter bees out of it. They're crazy around here. So yeah, it's the building. Hope you glean some information from this. Like I said, you got any questions, give me a shout out. I'll answer it for you. And hope you found it helpful. Hit that subscribe button. God bless.